let's run over to to Tony Campolo. Just give you a little sense here before we take our break of, this guy's introduced all this stuff, and he turns it over to Tony, and he's talking about all these good things that John Calvin did prior to his 500th birthday, and so Tony Campolo dives in.
Are you into being tulip? And you say, tulip, what's that? T means total depravity. Calvin taught, and Calvinists picked up that theme, that every human being is totally depraved. There is no righteousness in any of us. That we, as children of Adam, are filled with sin. And even our righteousness, as Paul once said, is as filthy rags. There is nothing good about any of us. The idea that there's good in everybody, Calvin says, not so. There isn't good in everybody. All of us are, in our original condition, totally depraved. There's nothing righteous. There's nothing good. It's a pretty negative view of human nature, isn't it? I mean, and many people have said that this concept of total depravity.
Now, let me just stop right there for a second. Wasn't all that biblical? I mean, I think it was Isaiah that said what he attributed to Paul. Maybe Paul quoted it someplace. But you certainly read Romans 3:10-18, and you get the same conclusion. Wasn't all that just Bible? That wasn't just Calvin. That was sounded like Bible to me.
Is responsible for people really being down on themselves within the Western society.
Mm-hmm. Western society is just filled with people who have been seriously contemplating the biblical testimony to their sin. Yeah, I see that. I see that around me all the time. People just walking with their heads down, just going, oh, that Romans 1 and Romans 3's got me down, man.
It's such a gloomy image of what we are as human beings. That it has ramifications. You say ramifications? Yeah, let me give you one. Erich Fromm, in his book, Escape from Freedom, which is a commentary on the rise of Nazism, said Nazism could not have arisen in Germany had it not been for Calvinism and Lutheranism, interestingly enough. His argument was this, that both of these theologians said that without Christ in your heart, you are totally evil. There is nothing good in you whatsoever. Well, Erich Fromm says, don't you see how this set it up? What would be wrong with throwing 6 million totally depraved, demonically possessed, because that's also what they said. You're either under the lordship of Christ or under the lordship of the evil one. What is wrong with throwing 6 million totally depraved, demonically controlled persons into an oven? You say that's horrible. You're saying that there is some kind of theological legitimation. I am saying in reality that this kind of thinking was permeating Germany and was one of the factors, not the factor, but one of the factors that helped develop the Nazi mindset. The Jewish people were looked upon as totally depraved and demonically controlled, and that kind of led people say destroying such people is no bad thing.
There you go. Erich Fromm and Tony Campolo together. Yes, sir?
What is wrong with, maybe that's called mass murder?
Well, but that would require you to be balanced. And we can't be balanced 2 days before.
Don't believe the Ten Commandments, do we?
We can't be balanced during Calvin's birthday. No. Well, there you go. I mean, I'm sorry, but the idea that the Nazis were overly concerned about such topics as total depravity or things like this really strikes me as one of the most absurd things I've ever heard coming forth from an educated person's mouth. It truly leaves you going, okay, well then, you know what? You could blame anybody for anything, because if that's a valid kind of connection, then, wow.